All right, I don't see any questions. So I'd like to thank all of our presenters for some fascinating slides, fascinating discussions, and my personal thank you for everybody for participating. I think Michelle has some final words for us.
Yes, I do. Thanks, Dave, and thank you to all of our presenters today. We enjoyed your presentations, and thank you again for your time. These presentations that were recorded will be offered online probably by next week, along with those follow-up answers to questions that we need to get to. So I'd like you to all to stay on just for a few more minutes. I want to do my usual kind of roundtable to talk about upcoming events and try to see who we can get on board for upcoming GHIHCs. So I have some feedback that you all cannot see what is going on in the Q&A, so I'm going to put this in the chat. The next GHIHC upcoming is Thursday, November 19th, and Garland Yeager is helping us to produce that from MD Anderson, and registration will be announced. So far, we have a lineup of Dr. Peter Hotens, who, even if you're not in the Houston area, you probably know who that is. And then we will be discussing some COVID topics again and potentially others. So that's for November.
Hey, Michelle, just to note, there are some questions for Matt there once you finished.
Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to that then before we get into the next few months. Do you want to moderate that Q&A to Matt, and then I'll start again?
Yeah, Matt. Matt, a question here. Any ELISA methods for rapid detection on surfaces or samplers? Matt, are you still there? See him there. Oh, wait. Matt had to take a quick break. So, Michelle, go ahead and go ahead and continue what you're saying, and then Matt will be right back to answer those questions.
Got it. Okay. All right. So November, the next GHIHC is November 19th. Garland Yeager is producing. He has a few speakers lined up, and he may reach out to the IH and safety community if we need a few more. So I just want to let everyone know to be on the lookout for that. And then in our old programming format, we held GHIHC face-to-face. And so now that we are looking at either definitively moving this online if we think this works, or just until it's safe to go back to face-to-face, we really haven't made that decision yet, but for the future. But for now, I'm proposing to offer GHIHC monthly from January through May and August through December, if we can get some agenda producer and speaker assistance. So I will be following up with everyone, but if you would like to sign up to be an agenda producer, you can just go ahead and put your name and email into the chat and which month in 2021 that you would like to take over, and we will follow up with you, but this will also be on the evaluation. So that is all I have for that for now, and we can go back to Dr. Noneman with question and answers since he's rejoined us.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, for coming back.
Sure.
A question by Robert. Any ELISA methods for rapid detection on surfaces or samplers?
I don't know of those yet. I haven't seen those, but I'm sure they're they're coming, or if they may be available already, but I haven't looked at those. And typically the ELISAs are less sensitive, than like PCR or whatever. But I think it's at this stage, having tools we have, the better off.
And William asked a very good question. I know we've had discussions on this before on any information on UVC decon times in airstreams or on surfaces.
That's a great question. I know that the data suggests that I haven't stayed up on the these data are changing all the time, but I know traditionally coronaviruses are pretty susceptible to UVC control, and so and we have a study ongoing right now where we're treating airstreams with UVC light. The challenge is of course doing that in a BSL-3 scenario. I mean, that's really hard, right? Especially on a building level with a system that is representative of what happens in a building. So I think that work will happen and it will continue to happen. But one thing I think we can all feel comfortable with is that filtration and UVC works. And so if we have HEPA or HEPA style type filtration and UVC, that will reduce aerosol concentrations, and if there's no leakage and all those sorts of things. But so yeah, I mean, I think just kind of taking to use an industrial hygiene term, to use like kind of a control banding approach, where you implement controls that kind of work. You may not know exactly where the hazard is, but I think it's a good approach. And so, but I think those data we'll have some of those eventually. Our plan is to do some work. Our long-term plan is to do some work with on a larger scale with Corona, not the SARS-CoV-2, a different Corona, but also too we're doing some work in BSL-2 with low path Corona. So anyway, it's a great question.
All right. I think that those were the last two questions. Very good. Thanks, Matt. Michelle, any final comments or instructions, directions, anything?
If anyone wants to follow up on being an agenda producer, or if you have an interesting topic, COVID related or non-COVID related, you can contact me by email, and we will also follow up with an evaluation and your certificates that will also ask for this information. So that's all I have, Dave, and I thank you, and I thank all our speakers and participants for their time today.
Thank you for your help. And Sylvia, thank you for doing the behind the scenes PowerPoint.
Yes, thank you to Sylvia too. And just to answer one more question that came in regarding the mailing list, yes, if you attended today and have not before, you will be added to our email listservs. So expect more information to come. So that's all we have. We're going to close out now. Thank you, everyone.